Yes, welcome to this fear elimination workshop. And we are going to do a practical session here for fear elimination. So I would advise each one of you be right till the end of this particular session so that you can experience it. You can understand how exactly you can navigate through your fears. Okay. So that's very crucial for us to understand our emotions and how we can manage our emotions. Many of us try to control our emotions. Controlling does not work, but we have to better manage our emotions. So, who am I? My name is Sajana Binil. I'm an emotional intelligence trainer, and I work closely with people and corporates to help them have a better understanding of their emotions, better manage their emotions in the workplace as well as in their personal life. So, today we are dealing with one such emotion, which is fear. Okay. Fear, which acts as the biggest roadblock for us when we decide to venture into a new career, or we decide to venture into a new relationship, something that we want to do with regards to our health or our financials, anything new that we try. Fear is one of the roadblocks that stops us. Excuse me. So let's spend some time to understand this fear that we have within ourselves, and then we will do a fear release exercise that will help you understand the perspective. Okay. So, first of all, I want each one of you to first list down what are the fears that you have. So, if you can quickly think about the fears that you want to release in this session, that will help you set your mind that this is what I'm planning to release. If we are not very clear about what we intend to do, then it does not work for us. Okay, so first and foremost, set your intention. As everyone says, your intention should be very clear. This is one of the biggest fears that I have, and that's what I want to release. Okay, so people are just joining in, I believe. So, number one, Basobi, Sudha, Swanlata, each one of us, each one of you, number one thing that you need to do is set that intention that I want to release this fear today. Hmm? And list down the fears that you have. Each one of us have multiple fears, guys. Multiple fears. Even though I am a coach, I also have my own fears, but I know how to manage those fears. So that's what I'm going to teach you. Something that has worked for me, as far as many of my students who I'm coaching, is a formula that I'm going to teach today. And I don't believe in teaching theory. So that's the reason this is a practical session to help you release and experience that. Something that you can do it yourself even after I am gone away. Okay. So that's the whole intention behind having this particular session. First of all, understand your fear. And I hope each one of you is listing down the fears because that's very important for us to release. List down your fear. So it might be fear of failure, it might be fear of job loss, fear of losing a relationship, fear of losing your health, fear of losing someone in your family, you know, anything, any fear it can be, fear of losing your money. Whatever are those fears, just list it down. Okay. Next, very, very important. Fear. What is fear? Fear is more of a perception than a reality. Many of us feel that fear comes when there is some reality check that happens. That's not true. Fear is more of a perception. Like for example, um, if there is a snake in front of you, hmm, if I ask you to just visualize a snake right now, there is no snake over there, right? But if I ask you to visualize a snake, just that image of the snake in your mind, does that trigger a fear? If you have fear of snakes, definitely it will trigger a fear. Hmm? So it's a perception. The snake is not there, but still, you might be getting several such dreams in the night about something, something that you fear. You might be getting that dream, and you get up that the next day in the morning completely anxious, and you don't. It's not a reality. Nothing has happened to you, but your mind has just created this particular fear. You went through a bad dream and you get up in the morning thinking, oh my God, why did this dream come to me? So, fear is always a perception. Now, fear was created in humans as a survival mechanism. Okay, as if you look at the evolution of human beings, it came into our minds as a survival mechanism, because if you look back at the history, the way we were living long ago, we used to live in jungles, right? And at that time we were surrounded by wild animals and all kind of dangers to our life. Okay, we used to hunt for our food, and at that time when there is a danger or threat to your life, for example, there's a lion standing in front of you, you should be able to pick up your feet and run, isn't it? You're not going to stand there fearless, allowing him to have a meal. You're not going to do that. Fear was created for that purpose in our minds, biologically, so that we can protect ourselves, so that we can protect ourselves with any from any potential danger. Unfortunately, as we evolved as human beings, that fear also evolved with us, where we started getting fearful of things that are actually not happening to us. Like, for example, you might be currently working in a good job, in a good company, but you're constantly having this fear of job loss. Hmm? So, nobody has even laid you off, but still that fear of job loss is there. Another example, you might be having good amount of money in your bank account, but you're constantly thinking, oh, what if my expenses this month exceed than my income? What if this happens? Oh, it has not even happened, but you're already fearful. Fear of losing a relationship. You might be having a good relationship with your family members, but due to certain conflicts that you might have had in the past, you're constantly under the fear, what if they leave me? What if this happens? So you see all of those what ifs that are there in your mind, that's triggering constantly the fear, which is not even real. So this is the first thing that I want you, each one of you, to understand, that fear is a perception, guys. It has nothing to do with reality. After you lose a job, you are constantly under the fear, what if I don't find another job? How true is that? Question yourself. How true is that? You might have to wait for some time to get a job, but it does not mean that your entire life you'll be jobless. Is that even true? When these kind of fears pop up in your mind, I want you to give this a thought. Is this even true? That I will remain jobless for the entire life? I might have to wait some time. But these fears crop up, and because of these fears, we know what happened? We stop taking action. The reason we, as emotional intelligence trainers, the reason we coach people and tell them to come out of these blocks is because if you are so fearful, you stop taking action. Just think about a case where a person has lost a job, and now he's fearful that he might not find a job in the market because the market is so volatile and all those excuses, and I've not upgraded my skills. He will have his n number of excuses. So no company will give me a job. He's in that state of mind where he's extremely fearful that he might not find a job. And because of this fear, you know what happened? He starts behaving in a particular way. His actions, as human beings, guys, our actions are aligned to our fears. Our actions are aligned to the thoughts that are there in our mind. Hmm? And what is the thought? What is that thought in the mind of a fearful person? I might never get a job. I might never be able to recover my money. I might never be able to get into a good, stable relationship. These are the thoughts. And because of these thoughts, people don't take action. That means this guy who should be actually looking out for a job, he stops applying for jobs. He might apply for one or two jobs and then he say, okay, as it is, I knew that I'm not going to find a job. So there's no point in applying. My friends told me the market is very bad now. So, and because he has even stopped applying, because he's stopped giving interviews, do you think how much of a potential he has to find a job? what are the chances that he will get into a job? Zero, right? If you don't even apply, who's going to give you a job? So that's the reason we say these intense emotions like your fear, your anxiety, your self-doubt are a couple of things that which act as major roadblocks in your life and career, whether it is your personal life or your professional life. These things act as a major roadblock, and we need to come out of it. So today I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to help you with an exercise which will help you release those fear, that feeling of fear, if you do this activity exactly the way I ask you to do. Okay, so follow the instructions. First of all, have the belief that this technique will help you release the fear. First, have that belief. If you're in your mind, you're constantly thinking, is this going to work for me? Is this going to work for me? Then it will definitely not work for you. Let me tell you, then this session is not for you. If you are constantly thinking, is this going to work? Is this going to work? It will not work. So I want you to have that have that belief that yes, it's going to work, and we are together going to release that fear. So set your intention. Number one, set your intention. Today, I'm going to release all the fears that are acting as major roadblocks in my career. Okay, in my career or life. I want you to type in the chat window, what are those major fears that you want to release? Okay, because I can include that in my session. I can include that in this particular activity where I make you go through a release. Okay, so type in the chat box, what are those fears, so that we can work on them, because each one of you will have a different fear, right? So type in the chat box and I will include all of those things in my activity, fear releasing activity. Let's go ahead and type so that I know you a little more. And I will start giving you instructions about how you need to follow this. So for people who are not in their office currently, I would advise you switch on the camera so that I can guide you accordingly. I can see whether you're doing it correctly. So that would be better. And I'm waiting for inputs in the chat window, guys. What kind of fear you're experiencing? Is that fear of job loss, fear of losing a relationship, or fear of losing your money? Okay, Tejal says desire, getting into a desired job and sickness in old age. Fear of losing the relationship. Okay, fine. Okay, so I will take, since I've got only two responses. Okay, Basobi is also written. Fear of being abandoned. Okay. Fear of being stuck in my career. Fear of financial brokenness. Okay. Financially broke. Okay. So I'll take a career part of it, relationship part that Usha mentioned. Yes, health also I will consider. Relationship, health, yeah, and career. Financial for Tejal also. Okay, thank you so much for sharing this. Great, great. So be ready for this activity, guys. Be ready. Be seated in a quiet place, guys, so that you can follow my instructions and understand what I'm asking you to do. Now, this technique is called a timeline technique, and it comes from NLP. Some of you might be already knowing NLP, but it's a timeline technique where what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you across a timeline, and you have to be with me, guys. This is complete visualization. So that's the reason I say go and sit in a quiet place. Okay, if you are in the office, you can find a meeting room. Okay, I understand some of you might be in office, but if you are sitting in a noisy place, it will not work. You'll not be able to visualize with me and you'll not get any outcome. So let me tell you upfront, your visualization should be very, very strong for you to release that fear. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let me first give you instructions and then you will do it along with me. Okay. Your left hand, left hand, this is my left hand. Everyone raise your left hand. Your left hand will represent your past. Okay. And your right hand will represent your future. Okay. So what we are going to do, these are instructions, just listen to the instructions. Here, when I've kept my left hand over here, this is representing my current age. So whatever is that current age, bring that current age in your mind first. I will ask you to bring your current age. You might be 30, you might be 40 or 50, whatever. Bring that current age in your mind, and then I will move you to a timeline where you are now 50% of your age. That means if you're 40, you will visualize yourself as 20. So since we have a group over here, I can't do it for each and every age. Whatever is your current age, keep that in mind. So if you're 40, you then move to 20. Then we move you to 10. Okay. Again, 20 divided by 2, 10. So keep dividing your age and you will see. So from this, you will be moving your hand along with it. Current age, 20, 10. Then we move you to 5 years. You were a 5-year-old child. When I take you to your past, I want you to visualize that face that you had in the past. You might be having your old photographs. I need not tell. Bring that face in your mind. When I say 5-year-old, bring that 5-year-old baby's face. Then I'll tell you 1-year-old. You might be remembering your 1 year happy birthday. Photographs again. It's important to visualize your face and not some other baby's face. So don't get your nephew or niece's face over there as a 1-year-old. Get your face. Look, whatever is the photo that you have seen of yours when you were 1-year-old. In every stage, guys, I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. And those are the questions I'm asking to your subconscious mind, to your mind. Okay. And you are supposed to, at that moment, answer those questions loudly. Nobody will hear your answers, but it is for you to hear those answers. Okay. So every stage, I will ask you some questions. Definitely reply back to those questions. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So I take you to the 1-year-old, then I will take you to your mother's womb, where you were just waiting to be born. And then towards the end, you go and reach the universe. You become a soul in the universe. Okay. And at that time, we will understand what's your perspective. Okay. What's your perspective? I'm going to ask you some questions and that will give you a beautiful, beautiful realization. Okay. So this is the past. Once we have done with the past, I will ask you to move towards your future. So in the future, exactly the same thing that we are going to do, except we will be doubling your age. So you are 40 right now, you become 80. Then we move you to 100, say, because we can't go more double. So we move you to 100, then 110. And then now you have left this earth and you have been reborn as a baby. That is a visualization. Okay. And again, at every step, I will ask you some questions and you need to give answers to those questions. It's a beautiful activity, guys, if you do the visualization correctly. I just did this exercise with my community yesterday night, and each of them were like absolutely thrilled and they felt so light after that, after doing this with me. Okay. So definitely engage in this activity. Okay, so my video is going off now and let's start this activity. Step number 1, take a pen and paper and write down 3 to 5 biggest fears that you have. Okay, come on, we all have lots of fears. So create a list of fears that you have. Not more than 5. 3 to 5 biggest fears. So fear of conflicts, fear of rejection, fear of losing your parents, fear of dying, fear of cancer, fear of failure, fear of not getting a job, fear of not making enough money, fear of betrayal, fear of being cheated, fear of not progressing in life, fear of weight loss, fear of anger. Write down as many fears that comes to your mind. Create a list. Now, once you have created this list, when you observe these fears, you will see that there are some fears which are big ones and the rest are just symptoms. Yes, the rest of the fears are the symptoms of the big fears. So I want you to look at those biggest fears out of the list. So we are not going to address all of the fears, but the biggest fears. Highlight those biggest fears in your notepad. And that's what you're going to release today. Okay. Take one or two fear and keep it in your mind. And put your hands on your heart. Close your eyes and say, I'm clear, I want to get rid of this fear. And say your fear. Fear of failure, fear of losing money, fear of not getting a job, whatever it is. So I'm clear that I want to get rid of the fear of failure, or I want to get rid of the fear of losing money. Set your intention correct. Set your intention clear, because unless and until you have the intention to release it, your mind will resist. Now, once you have done that, let's start the process. Place your left hand. Like I said, your left hand represents your past and your right hand is future. So just place your left hand near your chest in upright position, near your chest. This is your current age. So whatever is your current age, say it in your mind. Let's say if you're 40, say, I am 40 now. Whatever is that current age, say that. Now with your left hand, go a little towards your left. Move your left hand a little towards the left. As you go towards the left, imagine that you have reached that part of your life where you are half your age today. Okay, so if your current age is 40, you are 20 now. Visualize the 20-year-old you. You might be studying in college. How did you look like? What are you doing? Which college are you studying? Who are you surrounded with? Visualize your friends in college. Visualize yourself in the classroom, the cafeteria. You are now half your age today. So now, let's go another 10 years behind. So if you're 20, move your left hand a little more towards the left. And let's go 10 years behind. Take your hands towards your left. And I want you to imagine your age right now. And tell your age loudly. If you go 10 years further, what will be your age? Say it loudly. How did that 10-year-old person look like? What is he doing? Be there, be in that moment. Now I want you to go further behind. Move your left hand a little more towards the left and go to a point where you were just 5 years old. Yes. You might be having the 5-year-old photograph with you. Visualize that face. How did that 5-year-old you look like? What was the body language? What did the hair look like? What was your height? What was your favorite color? Just answer these questions. What was the color of the hair? What was your height? What was your favorite color? What are you wearing? Now go all the way down to the 1-year-old. Move your left hand a little more to the left and visualize the stage in your life when you were just 1-year-old. Imagine that photograph that you have in your album. Bring that photo of the 1-year-old in front of you. What is that 1-year-old doing? Imagine that face. Now I want you to imagine that somebody died in your neighborhood and you are just 1-year-old. What is your perception about fear right now? How are you feeling about fear right now? Are you scared of it? And there are some rituals going on in the neighborhood. You are hearing those rituals. Is that depressing you? What are you thinking about? What is happening in that neighbor's house? You're probably in your mother's arms, or you are running around, and people are asking you to be quiet. There is a death in the neighborhood. Now imagine you are in that funeral and you're giggling at the age of 1. The rituals that are going on in your neighborhood, does that impact you? How are you feeling about losing a job? How are you feeling about breaking up with a person, losing a relationship? Imagine at this age of 1. Now I want you to reverse yourself and go to a time when you were still in your mother's womb. Yes, move your left hand a little more towards the left, and now you are in your mother's womb. You are a tiny tadpole. You were just waiting to be born. What was your perception of fear? Were you afraid of survival? Did you have any fear of nourishment? What if I don't get any food? Did you have any fear of not being born? What if I die inside the womb? Did you feel like that? Does a baby in a mother's womb have these fears? That what if I'm never able to see the world? Now I want you to reverse time and go to a space when you are not even born and you were a soul in the universe. Once upon a time, you were a soul in that universe. Now imagine you are the universe. You are the Brahmand. You are the God. You are the universe. Now what's your perception about fear? What's your perception about death? What's your perception about losing money? About losing a relationship? Losing health? Losing career opportunities? As a universe, as God, how do you look at all these fears? I want you to take the wisdom of the universe and slowly bring your left hand back to a stage where you were in your mother's womb. And this time remain in your mother's womb and remember the wisdom that the universe has given you. Now bring your hands a little closer to the time when you were 1-year-old. And remember how you felt as the universe in your mother's womb and as a 1-year-old. Remember as a child how you felt about fear and death. Now bring your hands closer when you were 5 years old. As a 5-year-old, how did you perceive losing a job? What was your perception of breaking up? What was your perception of losing friends, losing relationships? As a 5-year-old child, you must be making best friends and losing best friends every day. So what's your perception about that loss? Bring that wisdom, that innocence of the child slowly closer towards you and now put it in your heart. And take a deep breath. And remember all that wisdom, all that innocence of a 1-year-old, of a 5-year-old, and the wisdom of the universe. Now I want you to combine the wisdom the innocence of the child with the person you are today, with the person who is of today's age. What is your age today? Say again. So if this person has the innocence of the 1-year-old and the 5-year-old and the wisdom of the universe, how will this person feel about death? How will this person feel about losing a job, losing a relationship, losing money, losing health? Think about it and be there at the moment. Now let's go towards your future. I want you to take your right hand and go towards your right slowly. And as you're going towards your right, double your age. So if your current age is 40, you will double your age to 80. And as you're doubling your age, I want you to imagine when you're 80 years old, what would be your perception about death? What would be your perception about losing your job when you are retired? What would be your perception about losing money when you're financially free? Now, I want you to take yourself to a stage where you are 99. Your face is full of wrinkles, probably. Visualize that face when you're extremely old. Once again, I want you to ask yourself, how do you feel about death at the age of 99? Are you scared of it? Or are you maybe waiting for it at the age of 99? And go a little more further. Let's say you are 110 now. Now your bones are weak. You are not able to walk. Maybe some of your organs are not functioning. What do you think about death now? Imagine death as something beautiful. At this age, you might be waiting for it, as if it is a restart. Now go further towards your right. Move your hand further towards your right and imagine you have left this earth and you are reborn. And when you are reborn as a child in a new family, is it something bad? Or is it a restart? So I want you to repeat with me. My death is my restart. Now imagine being in another family like a baby and being pampered by somebody else. At this point, what is your perception about death after a restart now? Now I want you to bring back your right hand, bring back that wisdom from the time you were 110 to 99. At the age of 99, when you remembered as a mature, wise person, what is death? Keep that in mind. At the age of 99, what did death mean to you? Now bring it to the age of 80 and bring it to your current age. Bring it to your heart. Now combine the feelings of the future and combine the feelings of your past. Put your left hand and right hand together on your chest. Who was 1-year-old, combine that innocence of the 1-year-old with the wisdom of the 99-year-old. And ask yourself, how do I feel about death? And now think about all the fears that you have. But this time, think about it from a 1-year-old's innocence and a 99-year-old's wisdom. Now, how does that feel? What is that which comes to your mind when you think about death? When you think about any loss in your life? When you combine both the wisdom of the 99-year-old and the innocence of the 1-year-old, what is that answer that you get from your subconscious mind? Put your hands on your heart and close your eyes and repeat. Repeat loudly. I'm sorry, fear. I'm sorry, death, for misunderstanding you. I'm sorry for not realizing that you are always giving me a restart. I'm sorry, death. Please forgive me for misunderstanding you. Thank you, death, for always giving me a restart. Dear death, I love you and I know you are a sweetheart giving me a restart. Now think about a past incident. Think about a past situation where every time you failed, every time you lost something, something restarted in your life, isn't it? And feel good about it and give that gratitude for the first time in your life. That although I failed at this, life gave me a restart. I started something else. So remember, every time you lose something in life, you will also gain something in life. It is always a restart. And what do we do when life gives us a restart? So, with that intention in mind, let's say a small prayer to erase the fear from our hearts. Close your eyes, hands on your heart, and repeat after me loudly. I'm sorry, dear fear, for hating you. I'm sorry, dear fear, for misunderstanding you. I'm sorry, dear fear, for not realizing you were supporting me and not destroying me. Please forgive me for not realizing that every time I needed a restart, you always gave me a restart. But instead of saying thank you to you, I have been scared of you. Just because you look ugly and you come during difficult times, during ugly times. But the fact is, in your heart, you are a sweetheart, giving me a restart. Please forgive me for judging you by your looks. Please forgive me for judging you for the times when you come. I now declare I love you. And from now on, whenever you come in my life, either through failure of work or health or a person leaving me or someone dying, I promise I will let you happen. I will let you give me a restart gracefully. I will allow for you to come into my life gracefully. I will allow you to restart gracefully. I promise to live gracefully. I promise to die gracefully. I refuse to be that person who's begging to live before dying. I refuse to be that person who's begging when someone tells me to leave a job. I refuse to be that person who's begging for love when someone is leaving me. Because now I understand in all of my health, my relationships, my career, my financial life, every time you come into my life, it is just a restart. I now promise myself that I will go through it gracefully. I promise to live gracefully. I promise to leave this earth gracefully. So I will lose a job gracefully. I will lose a relationship gracefully. Anything I lose from now on, I will lose gracefully. Now, with that intention in mind, think about your biggest fear as if you're looking at the fear in its eyes. think about the biggest fear and look into the eyes of the fear. And for the first time, instead of hating it, love it and say, I love you in my life gracefully. With that, take a deep breath in and breathe out through your mouth. Once again, take a deep breath in and breathe out through your mouth. Thank you so much. So that brings us to the end of today's session. I hope you guys have got a beautiful perspective, got a beautiful outcome. This is a technique that you can use anytime. Just revisit this technique and give yourself that restart. There will be further situations in the future that might trigger the fear. We did a release today, but it does not mean that it will not get triggered in the future. Anytime in the future you feel that you need a restart, come back to this video. I will be posting this video. Come back to this video and give yourself that restart because we all deserve that restart. Thank you so much, guys, for attending today's session. Thank you so much for attending. God bless you.